What happens when a long-standing conflict suddenly erupts in violence, threatening regional stability and even the possibility of global repercussions? On April 20th, 2025, a terrorist attack in Kashmir left dozens dead and sent shockwaves through the already tense relations between India and Pakistan. This attack set off a chain reaction, with India suspending the Indus Water Treaty, expelling Pakistani diplomats, and closing its borders. Pakistan retaliated with trade restrictions and military skirmishes. How did things escalate so quickly, and what does this mean for the future of South Asia and beyond? How did Kashmir become the flashpoint? Imagine a region that has been at the center of conflict for decades, with both India and Pakistan laying claim to it, each convinced that they have the right to rule. Now, imagine that this area, already a volatile powder keg, becomes the site of a deadly terrorist attack. This is exactly what happened on April 20th, 2025. In a swift response to the attack, India took several dramatic steps, suspending the Indus Water Treaty. This, a 1960 agreement between India and Pakistan, governs the sharing of water from the Indus River, which flows through both countries. India's suspension of the treaty immediately disrupted water supplies to Pakistan, threatening agriculture and industry in one of the country's most crucial regions, expelling Pakistani diplomats. India expelled several Pakistani diplomats, signaling that it was no longer willing to engage diplomatically under the current circumstances. Closing borders, India also shut down its borders to Pakistan, halting trade and movement across the line of control. This is a significant step that not only hurts the economy of both nations, but further isolates Pakistan. Why did this happen now? After all, similar attacks have occurred in the past, but this one pushed both countries to the brink. The growing tensions in Kashmir were already at a boiling point. The region has been a flashpoint for violence since 1947, and after India's controversial revocation of Article 370 in 2019, which stripped Kashmir of its autonomy, the situation became even more fraught. What are the risks of an escalation? Where does this lead from here? With both nations on the brink of full-scale conflict, what is at stake not only for India and Pakistan, but for the entire region? Nuclear implications. Both India and Pakistan are nuclear armed, and this changes everything. A full-blown war could have catastrophic consequences, not just for South Asia, but for the world. With the growing threat of nuclear escalation, the international community is concerned that one misstep could lead to a disaster on an unimaginable scale. The strategic importance of Kashmir. Kashmir is not just about territorial claims. It's about strategic power. The region sits at the crossroads of key trade routes and holds vast natural resources, including precious water reserves from the Indus River. Whoever controls Kashmir can significantly influence the region's future. Economic ramifications. The closure of borders and trade restrictions are already hurting both economies. The economies of both India and Pakistan are closely intertwined, and this conflict will have ripple effects throughout the global market. International trade routes could be disrupted, impacting supply chains and global stability. What role does the US play in this crisis? Where does the United States fit into this? Given the strategic importance of South Asia, the US has a vested interest in seeing stability in the region. But with its complex relationships with both India and Pakistan, how will the US navigate this crisis? Pressure on both sides. The Biden administration has already called for de-escalation and peace talks. However, the US is in a delicate position. India is a key strategic partner in countering China's growing influence in the Indo-Pacific region, while Pakistan is seen as a critical ally in the war on terror, particularly due to its role in Afghanistan. The US cannot afford to lose either of these relationships. The risk of global fallout. If tensions continue to rise between India and Pakistan, it could have far-reaching consequences for the global economy and security. South Asia is home to over 1 billion people, and instability there could disrupt global trade, energy supplies, and more. The US will likely try to broker peace, but this crisis might force Washington into a tough decision: support its allies or risk regional war. The role of China. China's involvement in the region further complicates matters. With China's growing influence in Pakistan and its own territorial disputes with India, the situation could draw in other international powers. Any escalation in Kashmir could open a new front in the ongoing geopolitical rivalry between the US and China. So, what's next for the US and the world? Will the Biden administration succeed in pushing both nations toward diplomacy? Or is the region headed for another catastrophic conflict? The India-Pakistan crisis over Kashmir is far from over, and the international community is watching closely. The conflict is not just a local issue, it's a global one. With both nations' nuclear arsenals in play and the strategic importance of the region at stake, the stakes could not be higher. The US, along with other global powers, faces a critical moment in deciding how to respond. In the end, the real question remains: how much longer can the international community afford to ignore the volatile situation in Kashmir? If the current trajectory continues, the conflict between India and Pakistan could not only destabilize the region, but also alter the balance of power on the global stage. The world is holding its breath, waiting to see whether India and Pakistan will return to the negotiating table, or if we are on the cusp of a new and more dangerous chapter in this bitter rivalry. If you want to stay updated on this ever-evolving geopolitical crisis, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more in-depth analyses of global affairs. Your thoughts on the India-Pakistan tensions are important. Drop a comment below with your perspective. Do you think diplomacy can still work, or is the situation beyond repair?